Hello everyone and welcome back to another video. So today we're going to be taking a look at the Dark Imperium Plague War book. Now this is part 2 of the trilogy of books which Guy Haley is producing at the moment. There's only 2 parts. The third part is probably in production, I would think anyway at the moment, but this is definitely going to be a trilogy. But we're going to be discussing the Emperor of Mankind because it appears in this book that the Emperor has returned and is actively helping the Imperium. This video will of course contain spoilers to this Plague War book and also some stuff that's already happened in the Dark Imperium. So if you haven't started in the book series yet, then please turn it off because you will be spoiled. Also, if you haven't even thought about getting this book series, go out and get it because you will really enjoy it. It really brings you up to date with everything that's happening with the 8th edition, really goes in depth of Guilliman's return and all the political stuff that's going on. Very, very great book and gives you an insight into everything that is happening right now in the Imperium. Now, I don't want to go into a full-on in-depth discussion about every last bit of the story in this book. I'll leave that to you chaps who are reading it at the moment, who've already read it. I'm sure you've got your feedback on that. I just want to talk about some of the main points that really stood out to me. And one of the biggest points is the Emperor seems to be actively helping the Imperium now. He seems to be actively returned and he's guiding Guilliman, he's guiding the Imperium in this time of crisis. And this really hits home for me because in this book there's a character who's referred to as the Saint, and this Saint basically has some super saiyan powers, let's say. And there's a scene where Guilliman is fighting a Great Unclean One, and the fight scene is brutal, of course, as you would think it was. And the Great Unclean One manages to get a drop of blood from Guilliman, which basically chains him, like, puts him in his place. And then Mortarion steps out the shadows. Mortarion being Mortarion, like, haha, brother, you see, I have won. Mortarion gloating, just being an absolute tool as Mortarion is. But then in the meantime, this Saint appears and steps into the battle. And when she steps into the battle, it's like the Great Unclean One can't move, he can't do anything. Mortarion, even as a demonic Primarch, he can't move, he can't do anything, he can't kill Guilliman. He basically just, like comic book style, like, I shall see you next time, Guilliman, and like retreats through like a warp portal and gets the hell out of there, and Guilliman is saved. So there's a quote from the book which really describes this Saint. I'm going to read it now, and it just basically, it's really, really cool how it just, you can picture this, and for me when I was reading this, I was like, is this the Emperor now? Is this like the Emperor? I didn't think it was the Emperor, but I personally think it's the Emperor possessing someone, and that is how he is helping in this current situation. So you can read this for yourself because I'll put the quote up on the screen as well. So it says, her eyes were hollows and her skin blotched. Atop her head, her hair was coming out in hanks. The white shift she wore was marred by burns. She was falling apart, but around her was a soft lambency that grew as she neared the 2 Primarchs, filtering between the combatants, setting the mist aglow, turning it from something foul to a net of glorious light. Colgan's gaze could not leave her. The conversation of the Primarch brothers faded from his hearing. The creature fighting him ceased to be a concern. He could have died then, killed by the demon. But the Neverborn was too enchanted. The fleshless septum of its nose quivered as she walked past. It raised a quivering finger and spoke in a hissing bellows voice, creaking and choked with grave dust. Yes, I am available for voice acting. Just kidding. So that little description then really summed up this Saint for me, and really led me down the path that this is not a Saint. This is something a lot bigger. When it comes to the story, like the bit when it goes on about a glorious light, turning to glorious light, even when the demon was enchanted by this, not just the people around on the battlefield was like, oh, it's a Saint, look how beautiful it is. The actual demons, who are chaos demons, were enchanted by this presence coming into the battlefield. Now, I don't know that much about Saint Celestine for the Sisters of the Battle, but I can never recall her being enchanting demons when she goes and fights against them. So for this person to have that kind of effect, I'm definitely putting it at a higher cause, and the only really higher place you can go is the Emperor. So that's where I'm at the moment. I could be completely wrong, but that is what is hitting me at the moment, that this person is the Emperor in some kind of way, either if it's possessed or just manifested, warp entity of the Emperor. This is some way is connected to the Emperor. Now that is, of course, a really big thing. If it's true, if it is the Emperor, I'm sure that's massively lore changing in some ways. I'm sure there's so many more theories out there and everything like that. But now another big thing in the book, and I think this is probably maybe a bit bigger, it depends where you look at it, is Gilliman gets given a box. So in this, I know that sounds pretty odd. So in the story, we actually meet one of Gilliman's historians, or like the remembrances, which Gilliman is reapplying to basically get the history of the Imperium back, to to write everything down, because there's so much information's been lost and stuff. Now, this historian is a female rogue trader who is actually it's actually quite funny, because this is an atheist rogue trader, and I think it was said that she was nearly burned for actually having her views. Now, her and Gilliman are quite friendly with each other, since Gilliman doesn't view the Imperium as a religious state, so he's definitely on the same level with her. Now she actually gives him a box, and there, this is a stasis box. Oh, okay, this seems kind of important. What is in this box? So Gilliman looks inside of the box, and there's like this kind of scene as you as a viewer, where Gilliman, just pretend like this is a film, and then Gilliman turns towards the camera as he looks inside of the box, and then just imagine all dramatic music, like dun dun dun, and then he sends her off with a message to Dante. I'm like, Holy Emperor, what's in the box? What is in the box? What could be in the box? Why are you sending this person off to Dante? What could possibly be this big? So she goes off to Dante. So that's going to be a really, really good story in itself. When we actually, I think we're actually getting the third installment of the Blood Angel books very, very soon, because we had Dante, then we had the Devastation of Baal, and I think that next book, maybe the next book is going to intertwine with this book. Anyway, back to the box. The box is the biggest thing in this novel. So it basically puts, you don't hear from the box, but then at the end of the novel, he opens the box again. It's like, oh baby, what's going on here? So he opens this this mysterious stasis box, and then he pulls out the Legio Divitarum, and he starts to give it a read. And it's like, what? Is Gilliman reading this now? Is he embracing, or is he got to embrace that the Emperor is a god? Is he got to start seeing things from that kind of standpoint now? Is this the start of Gilliman going Lorgar? Is Gilliman going to turn into Lorgar? That's what my thoughts was like. Don't do it, Gilliman. Don't do it. You'll have tattoos on your face before tea time. Now, I personally think that Gilliman is not going down that route. I think he's just reading it to kind of get a grasp of an understanding of where the Imperial cult got its foundations from, how they see things and stuff like that. Because in this book, he does actually shout down to Matthew, who is basically the head of the church. He's kind of like the Sparrow from Game of Thrones. He's like, dresses very poor. He doesn't over flamboyant itself like you saw the other heads of the church, or the heads doing stuff like that. And he actually shouts him down, saying, the Imperial religion is what fuels this kind of stuff. It only gives chaos, the means to their end, this idling and worshipping. This is why my father hid chaos away from people, because he feared that people would turn to it and see these as gods and bow to them and give them more power. And eventually that's what really happened. So I don't see Gilliman going down that route as going into full-on righteous and zeal Gilliman, that kind of Gilliman. I think he's just reading it to see what is going on, and in a way, I would like him to be like full-on Black Templar Gilliman. I think that could be kind of cool, but I don't really think it fits his character with, you know, good old stout Rabute, you know, writing stuff down, logical Rabute, that kind of stuff. That really doesn't meet his character. All right, Chaperonios, that is me done for another video. I hope you've enjoyed it. Again, I didn't want to do like a full in-depth review because there's so much stuff to talk about. I just wanted to pick out some of the big things, which made me sit down and think and go, wow, okay, that was kind of big. But go and get the book if you haven't already got it. It really, really is an amazing read. You will not be let down by all the cool stuff in here. There's like Titan battles, there's fleet engagements. There's so much cool stuff in this book. Go and get it. You will absolutely love the Golden Emperor's Balls off it. Guy Haley did a fantastic job. Please keep doing this kind of stuff. I absolutely love it. Thank you for watching this video. I hope I passed on some information, and I hope you've enjoyed yourself. See you, everyone, and bye-bye.